Chapter 2, Building Materials. "You're going to do what?" Wendy inquired. It was the next day, and Iggy had called all of his siblings into his lab to announce his next project. "Build a time machine," Iggy said. There was an excitement in his eyes that was so intense that someone could spot it from 10 miles away. "Isn't that great?" The others exchanged looks. Larry more or less had the same reaction when Iggy had relayed the idea to him, but with some discussion, Iggy was able to persuade the youngest Koopling that this was the right direction to go in. He had no doubt that he would be able to convince the others in the same way. "Oh, I don't know, Iggy," Wendy said. "Doesn't it seem a little—" She leaned toward Ludwig by her side. "What's the nice word for unrealistic?" "Ambitious." "Ambitious?" Wendy asked as she turned back toward Iggy. "Pfft," Iggy smirked. "Please. If I was able to graduate from college as a 7-year-old and get a decent amount of my debt paid off, then this will be a walk in the park." The other Kooplings still looked a little skeptical. Of course, Iggy had attempted to tackle some pretty heavy challenges in the past. For example, when he was only 4 years old, he had discovered galaxium, the most mysterious element on the periodic table. This element could be found in the stars, starbits, and prankster comets that decorated the void of space. After all, one didn't win 12 scientific awards as a 15-year-old for nothing. Even for him, though, this seemed like a tall order. "Well, I think it sounds neat," Lemmy chimed in. "See, thank you," Iggy exclaimed. "At least someone sees the fine line between genius and insanity." Iggy started to lead the others to the back of the lab, as if he were a professional tour guide. "Now, if you are all to follow me, I will show you the materials that I will use to craft my temporal apparatus." From behind him, Roy looked a little confused. He was about to open his mouth, but Iggy turned back around with an incredulous look on his face. "That means time machine, Roy." Roy's face lit up as he grasped what Iggy was trying to say. Iggy smiled. The times when Roy had done that happened so little that Iggy could count the occurrences on one hand. If nothing else, he could view this as a small victory. "Okay." Iggy pointed to a pile of cardboard boxes, stacked up as if they were used in a game of Tetris. Iggy reached up and brought a box down. Based on the amount of effort he looked to be mustering, the box didn't appear to be as heavy as the Koopalings originally thought. "Obviously, if one is going to construct as complex a structure as a time-altering vehicle, they would need to utilize something strong and durable in order to craft the hull. And what better metal to turn to than titanium?" Iggy opened the box and displayed the contents to everyone. The lustrous metal gleamed under the fluorescent overhead lighting. Lemmy put his hand on the titanium. "Ooh, it's hard!" he exclaimed with a smile. "Is this the same material you use to make your robots?" "The exact same," Iggy said. "It is also useful for making knives." "I'll keep that in mind," Larry said from behind the others. Iggy was initially startled by such a statement, but quickly shook it off and started to showcase the other materials to his siblings. "Now, I have also managed to get my hands on some wiring for the control panels, some chips so that I will be able to control the mainframe computer, some uranium because, who doesn't love uranium, and, finally, a special substance that will be able to really get the show going. Wait just a second while I go retrieve it." With that, Iggy ducked into his supply room at the back of the lab. While he was rummaging through the chasm of death, that was the nickname the other Koopalings had given to the storage area after Iggy had used it as an area for testing stink bombs, his siblings decided to engage in conversation. "You don't think he's serious, do you?" Wendy asked. "I mean, a time machine?" "Well, it'd hardly be the worst project he's attempted," Ludwig said. "Remember that time that he and I composed that song together?" "You composed a song together?" Roy asked. "Yeah, we composed a song together." Roy scratched his head in confusion. Ludwig, are you sure you aren't getting Iggy confused with Lemmy? I mean, it's totally understandable if you are. I make the mistake all the time." "I meant who I said, Roy," Ludwig clarified. "Don't you remember that really annoying song that has a lot of ba noises added in?" "Oh, you mean that song that the Koopa Troopas can't not dance to? The one that makes them do a little jig every time one of the ba's plays?" Ludwig nodded. "That's the one." The Kooplings held back giggles as they recalled the song. Years ago, Iggy had wanted to collaborate with Ludwig in order to compose a tune that was just as catchy as The Running of the Mario Brothers, which was another one of Ludwig's crown jewels. The end result was a song so annoyingly catchy that the Koopa Trooper servants had to dance to it, as in they didn't have a choice. Lemmy started humming the tune to the song, and just before everybody could tell him to shut up, Iggy came out of the storage area with another cardboard box in hand. This one appeared to be slightly heavier than the one that contained the titanium. "All right," Iggy said as he set the box on the ground. "Take a gander at this." The other Kooplings peered inside and almost giggled at the sight. The box contained what appeared to be a small pebble at first glance. On second glance, however, the Kooplings could see that it was a majestic purple in color. It also appeared to be glowing. Not brightly, but just enough for everybody to take notice. Larry looked shocked beyond words. "Is that—" "Yep!" Iggy squealed with delight. "You, my friends, are looking at a pure, untainted sample of galaxium. I'm going to use it as the time machine's main power source." Lemmy picked up the Galaxium sample and examined it. Despite his previous excitement, he too seemed to be experiencing doubt. But it's so small! You won't be able to use this to power anything! Unless... Lemmy glanced up at Iggy. His expression was a mixture of curiosity, amazement, and terror. Do you have any more? Iggy was smiling widely. A look to the others that his face was going to be incredibly sore later on. I've got 20 pounds of it. Lemmy's terror became all the more noticeable now. Wendy also looked the same way, but unlike Lemmy, she was willing to express it verbally. Holy cow, Iggy! Where the world did you get 20 pounds of Galaxium? A magician never reveals his secrets, Iggy said with a laugh and a smug smile. Morton, who up until now had been silent on the matter, spoke up from behind Iggy. Black market. eBay, actually, but they are more or less the same, Iggy responded. Roy pushed his bespectacled younger brother. Ixter. He took off his sunglasses, allowing Iggy to see the concern in his violet eyes. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Iggy gave Roy a warm smile. He was more than sure. He was confident. What he had said to the others about his project being a walk in the park hadn't entirely been a joke. Of course, he wasn't stupid. He realized that this was a bit of a long shot. But he knew that he could do it if he was just given the chance. I'm positive. Roy stared at his brother for a little bit before he put his glasses back on. He nodded slowly, and the other Koopalings returned Iggy's smile. You got this, Sigster, Larry said. Iggy couldn't help but grin.